Hi, everybody. Dave Pistalo here, coming to you after a couple weeks of not feeling good. Uh, had just about everybody down at the shop come down with COVID, and it hasn't been fun. It was, well, for a while there, it wasn't too bad, but then it got worse, and then it got better, then it got worse. I'm finally getting over it. If I keep clearing my voice, it's because, well, I still haven't got everything flushed out yet, I guess. Excuse me. Yeah. But anyway, it was bad. And, well, couldn't have come at a worse time. Well, can't say wasn't it was really bad because uh, before Memorial Day weekend, it was hot, and then Memorial Day weekend came and it cooled down. It rained, uh, and then COVID hit, and the temperature wise, it was relatively nice. There was 2 or 3 days that got hot and miserable, and it kind of made the whole thing worse. But other than that, I think it was end of last week when it got hot again. But excuse me, yeah. Uh, Other than that, it hasn't been too bad. But coming this week after I think Tuesday, it's going to be hot again. So I'm hoping they're wrong. We'll see. So anyway, enough of the news of the world. Enough of downers. Tonight, if you hadn't already guessed, we're doing Emerson Lake and Palmer, ranking the albums. And for those who don't know how this works, I start with my least favorite, work out to my favorite. Just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean I hate it. It just means I don't reach for as much. uh, and these rankings, a few months, few years down the road, whatever, can change. So it's all it's music's strange. Something doesn't ring true today can ring true tomorrow, and vice versa. So, but anyway, let's get into this. But well, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Like the video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode, and leave a comment. Leave your own rankings down below. So let's get into this. Uh, I'm going to include pictures at an exhibition. A lot of people don't include that in their rankings because it's live, but I'm going to because it's part of their catalog. It's part of one of the catalog that I bought. I don't have all the albums. I don't have the two Works albums, and I don't have Love Beach or In the Hot Seat. I have everything else uh, in digital form. The CDs I'll be showing you won't have any well, some of them won't have any pictures. The cover art. Two will. The rest won't. That's because it was cheaper to download them digitally than to buy the albums, which are quite expensive. At least at the time when I got these, they were. So anyway, coming at number 10 is their last album which I don't have. Uh, I may get this someday, but right now, even after listening to it today, I'm not really impressed with the songs. No, don't get me wrong. It's well put together. Excuse me. Well put together album. It's just I don't know. It's when you've heard their classic period, and then you got this period. Uh, their when they come back, their comeback period. It's like two different worlds. The songs are more mainstream. Let's put it, more. Oh, how would I put it? Uh, th- there's not as much exploring as there was on the original. The original albums. The first albums they did put out. It's more structured. Don't get me wrong. I like structured, but it's just not Emerson Lake and Palmer to me. It's and it's that it's that rut that I hate getting in because it where you compare current stuff to stuff in the past. And it's you can't avoid it really. You really can't avoid it that much. All you do is try to look at the songs and as and try not to think of what came before, but it doesn't always work. Like I said, it's well put together, but it's too structured. It's too oh marine like. uh, starts out with "Hand of Truth." Really good. "Daddy." Uh, I like that song. It's a really good song. Uh, but they're really "Heart on Ice" is another fine tune, but right now it doesn't stick with me. Excuse me. Um, Maybe down the road when I've listened to it more, but I haven't. I've listened to this maybe 3 or 4 times. Well, this is the first. Today was the first time in a long time, but it just doesn't ring out as a Emerson Lake and Palmer. It's, the first thing that pops in my mind is Greg Lake solo album. So, and I know that's not fair, but it's still well put together, well produced, and I would I would not say or I wouldn't tell anybody not to listen to this album. Listen to it, make up your own mind. Right? For me, this doesn't you know do it right now. So that's why it's stuck at number 10. So anyway, let's move on. Okay, this next one I'm probably going to get some people upset, but uh, this is me. This is my choices. I'm not going to try to conform to everybody else. Released November 1971. It's the album I said a lot of people don't include because it was recorded live, but I'm going to include it. It's pictures at exhibition. This is my digital copy. There's the track listings. Uh, when I first heard this album, I didn't know quite what to make of it. But don't get me wrong; it's a well put together, uh, great sound, uh, ELP showing their proudness right from the get go. Especially doing something live that's you would think they would have went up to the studio and done first. But I think this works better as a live album. It's just I don't reach for it as much. I mean, uh, the only songs that really really strike me is the old Castle, the Great uh, Gates of Kiev. You know, Nut Rocker. I'm not a big fan. Uh, Had a Baba Yaga, the Curse of Baba Yaga, so on. Good, solid rock, uh, LP style. But like I said, I just don't reach for as much as the others that are going to come. So that's at number 9. Number long. Okay, this one I don't have a physical copy of. Maybe someday. And if I'd done this, maybe a few months ago, this probably would have been my number 10. Um, because I haven't really listened to it as much. I have recently listened to it more. Probably because it's a lot of the other guys that do channels, like Pete Pardo and all of them have stirred my curiosity of this and other things, the later works of Emerson Lake and Palmer. Released November 1978. It was basically the final studio album to satisfy their commitment with their record label. I don't have a physical copy, like I said, but it's Love Beach. Uh, if you're familiar with Love Beach, it's got that Bee Gees picture on there. Uh, when I saw it, the very first time I saw it, I'm like, okay, is it trying to tell us something here that this actually the ELP's been the Bee Gees all along? I mean, yeah. uh, I'm sorry, but I don't want to see. I don't want to see Keith Emerson with his shirt open, or Greg Lake with his shirt partially open. The only one on here that's dressed is Carl Palmer. Hats off to him for keeping his shirt done up, at least almost all the way. uh, but as I've listened to this album more, it's starting to grow onto me, grow on me more. Uh, though you can tell that it was, I think, kind of rushed. I mean, all I want is you. It's more like a Greg Lake uh, single. You know, Love Beach is not bad. Taste My Love. Another one. The Gambler's okay. Of course, Canario. I think that's how you pronounce it. Canario. Memoirs of Officer Gentleman's good. Uh, that's the saving grace right there of this album is memoirs. Um, Good, well put together song, and all in all, it was really put together well. It's just they aside from the cover, I think they probably could have done way better but when you're just going in to satisfy the powers that be, this is what you get. So, but down the road, I'm definitely gonna get this album someday. Maybe soon. Who knows? So anyway, that's my number 8, Love Beach. Okay, uh, this album, when I first heard it, it I'd already got the uh, their first part of their catalog. This came later. In fact, it was the last album I bought or downloaded. Another, all these are digital copies that I own. Uh, at least June 27th, 1992. Uh, there's their comeback album, Black Moon. Uh, Good album. Really love the title track, Black Moon. Paper Blood. One of those songs that one day it's great, another day I don't like it. Fair's Heart's great. Romeo and Juliet's okay. Uh, Farewell to Arms, love it. Changing States, Burning Bridges. Uh, all in all, a good comeback album. The only thing I find wrong with it, and this harks to In the Hot Seat, is it's too structured. It's not. There's no exploring. There's what like I said, what do you expect from an ELP album? Of course, you know a band has to change over time, but I just think that it could have been better. But like I said, you get stuck in that rut where you compare everything with what came before, and you have a hard time getting out of that. So, but all in all, good, well produced album, good songs. I just think you know there could have been better, more exploring, by Keith, and less structure. So, anyway, that's my number 7, Black Moon. Okay, now this next album, released July 1972. Uh, Another album that's, well, a lot of people revere. Um, it's trilogy. Of course, I don't have the physical copy, just the digital. But there's a track listing. Uh, I don't reach for this one as much. It's ELP at their finest, but the songs just don't strike or stick with me as much. The Endless Enigma. Uh, First time I heard that song was a cover by the band. Oh heck, now I can't remember the band here. I get to go to my. Let's see. Oh, Mastermind. Yeah, band Mastermind. They did a cover of this out that song, which is fantastic, and it kind of tainted my views of the LP version. Uh, One of those situations where the cover version is better to you than the original version. Uh, the original version is good, but I just love Mastermind's version. It's got more of a harder edge. Uh, Goes up, all these tangents, with the keyboards and stuff is just awesome. Here, Keith is oh kind of a it's a slowed down. It, how would I put it? This doesn't grab me as much as the Mastermind version does. So what can I say? I've been I've been spoiled. uh, from the beginning. I love it. Great, great song. The Sheriff's like that. Hold Down. That's all right. Trilogy is good. Living Sin. Okay. Abaddon's Bolero. Not a big fan. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. This album's great. Great put. It's put together great. It just I don't know. It's more. It seems like the band's getting divided right here. They were divided, um, but it's still a good album. So, and that's what you know, if you're gonna try, check out ELP, check them all out because what doesn't ring true with me may ring better with you. So, anyway, that's number 6 with me. So moving right along. Okay. Now, these next two are two albums I don't have, physical or digital. Uh, Released 1977. It was well, volume 2 of Works. Um, I haven't listened to this album that much. I did the other day, listened to it for the first time in a long while, and I can see where people, say it's just well, it is. It just B sides, and leftover stuff. But just because they're B sides doesn't mean they're crappy, you know. But still, I can see where people are coming from. Uh, Starts out with Tiger in the Spotlight, recorded in 1973, with the B side to All I Want Is You, um, which is funny, it was recorded in 1973, but it wasn't released until 1978. Oh, no, 1977. So, when the apple blossoms bloom and the windmills of your mind, I'll be your Valentine. B-side to Jerusalem. Uh, Bullfrog. Yeah, it's all right. Brain salad surgery. B-side, fanfare for the common man. Of course, that was recorded originally for brain salad surgery. It always strikes me funny. It always strikes me funny where you get the these songs that were the title track of an album, but they were never used for that album, like "House of the Holy." It was recorded for "House of the Holy," but it wasn't put on there, which I think was a mistake. They should have taken out one of the other songs, like Jamaica or whatever, or the Ocean, and put that on there. I think it's a way better song than what some of the songs that are on House of the Holy. But we didn't get that until uh, Physical Graffiti. Here we're getting Brain Salad Surgery, the title song for Brain Salad Surgery. And not until later, you know. So, I don't know. Uh, Barrel House, Brain Salad Surgery, strange song. Um, Not a big fan yet, but it'll grow on me. Barrel House, Shakedown, B-side to Honky Tonk Train Blues, Watching Over You, another single. So Far Fall, B-side to Tiger in the Spotlight in 1977. Maple Leaf Rags, I Believe in Father Christmas, clo- close to, close but not touching, Honky Tonk Train Blues. Uh, I've seen them perform that song, Honky Tonk Train Blues, live, and it really good. They do a really good job live, and it's they have a lot of fun with that. Uh, Ends with Show Me the Way to Go Home. Uh, Good song. Uh, but all in all, well put together songs. But some of them I can see why they didn't include them. Uh, Others I don't understand why they didn't put them on their album they were intended for. So, but anyway, it is what it is. A lot of people don't like this album; they loathe it, you know. But this song has this album has potential to grow on me. So, anyway, right now it's number 5. Moving right along, and that brings us to the album that preceded Works Volume 2, released March 17th, 1977. That's Works Volume 1. Um, this album has really grown on me. It's not the best they could have put out at the time, but, Keith Emerson admitted later that during this period, he was on a orchestral crusade. He was going to areas where uh, Greg Lake and Carl Palmer didn't want to go, and he was kind of trying to drag them along. So, but anyway, here we got uh, probably the last album. Well, it is the last album where Keith Emerson really does his exploring with his music. Uh, Less structure. I mean, on some of the songs you can see the structure coming, but here he's the Keith Emerson that we love. So starts out with the piano concerto number 1. This is fantastic. It's Keith at his finest. Uh, takes up the entire side one of this is a 2 disc LP set. So uh, and it's really based. The first 3 sides is each of the band members, they do, write their own stuff here. Uh, Side two is Greg Lake. Keith Emerson was side one. Greg Lake, writing with Peter Sainfield. Lend me your love, lend your love to me tonight. Great. C'est la vie, hallowed be thy name. I love that one. Uh, Nobody loves you like I do. Closer to believing. Classic Greg Lake. Classic Emerson Lake and Palmer. Side three is Carl Palmer. Uh, Starts out with the enemy of the enemy. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm having a hard time talking here. Of course, a lot of you are probably going, well, that's nothing new. uh, Enemy gods dance with the black spirits. Fantastic. Love it. And Carl, he writes great music here. I mean, he does fantastic. A lot of people, you know, don't think drummers can write music. Well, they can. Carl Palmer proves it. L.A. Nights, good. New Orleans, great. Two-part invention in D minor. Food for Your Soul, re-recording of Tank. You know, Carl doing his fantastic job there. Of course, he gets help from the other guys on a few of things, but that's all right. Then side four, you got Fair for the Common Man and Pirates. Pirates, Fanfare I like. Pirates is a strange tune. Uh, but it's one of those tunes where when you first hear it, at least for me, you don't know what to make of it. So, and I was like, okay, what is this? uh, but Keith, great, exploratory surgery. So, per se, but it's still great. I love it. It's growing on me. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. And this album has the potential of moving up in the future. So it could move up to my number one or number three or number two. So, but right now it's number four. Definitely check this out. It's yeah, Emerson Lake and Palmer. Probably their uh, last of their fine albums. From their early period. Uh, and like I said, you can also hear the transition, what's to come on this one, and works too. Uh, and it's not really bad, but it's not really good. So anyway, that's number four. Works Volume 1. Now coming at number 3, this album, a lot of people tout as their all-time favorite. Uh, and I can see why, though it's this album, even though it's all this greatness, I just think the ones that are to come, my number one, number two, are just a wee bit better. Released November 19th, 1973. We're talking about brain solid surgery. Again, I don't have a physical copy other than digital download. Right, listing. Improvement over trilogy. like I said, Trilogy, they were kind of, to me, there was like, it sounded like there's some infighting going on. They were trying to figure out which way they wanted to go. Here they found their path again. Of course, it did help that Peter Singfield uh, came on board and helped on a few of the songs. Uh, Jerusalem, I love, breaks out of the gate, fantastic. Toccata, uh, Keith, by the spine exploratory surgery self. uh, Still, you turn me on. Greg doing, fantastic. Benny the Bouncer. A lot of people think that they could have thrown that away, and they probably could have probably be right. They could have probably did away with Benny the Bouncer and put the title song "Brain Cell Surgery" on here, but that's me. What's um, Greg and Keith and Carl probably didn't like "Brain Cell Surgery," the song at the time, so I don't know. Then it goes into Carnival 9. On the original LP, they had First Impression in two parts. That's because of the limitations of vinyl. So they had the uh, part one on side one, and then the continuation of the first impression on side two, and then second impression and third impression. Uh, of course, if you're familiar with those, welcome back, my friends, to the song that never, or the show that never ends. Uh, you know, it, it. This album is, for all its great, all the great music on here, it's just, I don't know. It's that one of those albums that I like, but at certain periods I don't really reach for as much. Uh, though I do reach for it, more than the ones that preceded it. um, Carnival 9. It's just one of those songs that I have a hard time liking 100%. I do like it. Like I said, I love Jerusalem, and still, you turn me on. I love that. But Carnival 9 is one of those songs that one day it sounds great, the next day it doesn't. So, of course, that's me. That's me. Definitely check this album out if you haven't heard it. Make your own decision on that. But for me, it's just this is going to be stuck at number 3 until down the road. Maybe it'll ring true. Of course, maybe it'll get ring worse for me later on. Who knows? So anyway, let's move on to the top 2. Okay, now if you're an ELP fan, what my top 2 are. You just don't know how they're going to land. Uh, Had a tough time, like I usually do, with the the top 2. This could change tomorrow or the next day. But right now, this is how they're landing. Released June 1971. Which I'm talking about, Tarkus. And it'll have all digital copies. Um, this one, has grown on me. If I'd done this a couple months ago, it probably would have been lower. But right now, it has grown on me. Tarkus, I've listened. The more I listen to it, the more I hear, the more I like it. Tarkus is one of those songs that's got so much going on. Uh, you really have to sit down and listen to it to appreciate it. It's a song that you can't just simply throw in and then cruise down the road and listen to it that way. No, you have to give it full attention. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy it. Uh, and I think that's the problem with progressive rock is because a lot can be going on with any particular song. Uh, that happens with King Crimson. Way they do their songs, especially the earlier stuff. The later stuff's a little bit more structured. Their early stuff, like on Islands and Lizard and so on, is exploratory surgery. There's so much going on, and people put it on and they'll listen to it, like a song like Lizard or Islands or whatever, and they won't enjoy it because they're treating it like a pop song, and you can't treat progressive rock, be it progressive rock, progressive metal, whatever. You can't treat it as like pop songs. It's not. It's like sitting down to me. This is me to a full course meal. You got your potatoes, you got your beans, corn, rolls, uh, all kinds of stuff to pick. And you can't just you know try to grab something and eat that, and then grab something else. You got it's all going to run together, and that's what I equate Tarkus with is sitting down to eat a meal, and you've got to give the meal your full attention. You may be able to talk, have a discussion about things, but the meal is the music. Uh, and that was my problem with it originally. It's I'd sit down and just try to let it play in the background, and I wouldn't get the full benefit of each course. Starts out with Eruption, uh, Stone of Years, Iconoclast, Mass, Manticore, Battlefield, and uh, this one I have a hard time pronouncing, Aquaticus, Aquaticus, aquatic song. Let's put it that way. Uh, the more I listen to it, sit and listen to it, really listen to it, the better I understand it I have it. Uh, when I hear people talking about it, I said, well, it's a science fiction song. It's really about it's a science fiction, kind of a science fiction movie in the mind. I'm like, it is. What are you talking about? And it wasn't until I really sat and started listening to it that okay, yeah, they're right. It is. So, uh, it has grown on me, and it's continues to grow. So, it goes into Jeremy Bender, which I love. Bitches Crystal, I love it. The Only Way, him, and Infinite Space, Conclusion. A Time and a Place, great. Uh, Are You Ready, Eddie? uh, it's okay, but come on, they could have put something better on there. uh, all in all, fantastic album as growing on me, and someday it could very well be number one. But right now, number one is the very first album released uh, November 1970. There it is, digital copy. I printed that cover. Tried to do the same with the others, but this and Black Moon was the only ones I could get. I could do that with. Get it small enough too for the jewel case. But anyway, back to the album. I just love this. This is uh, Emerson, Lake and Palmer at their finest. A lot of people prefer the later albums like Brain Cell Surgery and Tarkus and stuff. I'm sorry, but I disagree. This, for all its little flaws here and there are flaws. It it's those flaws and it's the exploring that I love on this album. Starts out with the Barbarian instrumental. Love it. I mean, just you know, Greg's bass on that is just awesome. Uh, it goes into Take a Pebble. Love it. Knife Edge. Great. The Three Fates. Tank. And then ends with Lucky Man. To me, there's not a single weak song on here. They're all solid. Uh, I always loved Lucky Man. Uh, it wasn't until recently that I had no idea that was an Emerson Lake and Palmer song. I didn't until I got really into Emerson Lake and Palmer. And it was like last 5 years. Uh, it just there isn't there this their debut album is just awesome. I love it. You know, I listen to all the other people that do rankings and talk about this album. That and they put it farther down on their list. I'm like, come on. If anything, uh, this is them at their purest. Here, it's again, it's the full course meal. You're getting everything in the right portions. Everything is the right. You've been cooked great. Everything has been prepared excellent. Uh, sure, there might be a little flaw here or there, but it's not the meal itself. It's the surroundings. Uh, I just love this album, and it's going to take quite a lot for any of the other albums to displace this from number one. So definitely, if anything, uh, to get into ELP. I would suggest uh, you start out with this album. A lot of times, I would suggest that you start out with maybe one of the lesser albums. Of course, that might be a better thing to do. Start out with like In the Hot Seat and work backwards. Uh, because a lot of the time, like I said, you get if you hear their earlier works that are this stuff like this, their debut album, it can get you into that rut where you have a hard time seeing outside or getting out of that rut and appreciating other things that they did later on. So uh, I would suggest, yeah, starting out with In the Hot Seat and then working back. Um, because when you get to Tarkus and then ultimately uh, their debut album, you're gonna be blown away. Of course, some people the later albums might sound more make more sense than this stuff. 'Cause like I said, the later stuff is more of more poppy. The earlier stuff is more proggy, way more proggy. And it's really you have to sit down and listen to like songs like the Barbarian and Take a Pebble and the Knife Edge and the Tank and Tarkus. You know you can't just simply listen to it. You have to really listen to it. You have to sink your teeth into it. So anyway, that's my rankings. I'm sticking with it. If you don't like it, tough. Put your own listing down below. I would like to see it. So anyway, going back over my number one, their debut, of course. Number two, Tarkus. Number three, Brain Salad Surgery. Number four, Works Volume 1. Number 5, Works Volume 2. Number 6, Trilogy. Number 7, Black Moon. Number 8, Love Beach. Number 9, number 9, Pictures of Exhibition. There. And number 10, In the Hot Seat. Check them all out. Like I said, start with their most recent and work back. That's I was almost going to say start with their first one, and work chronologically forward. But I think it'd be better if you start out with their last album and then worked up to their very first. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and we got something in the works here. I know I said that a couple weeks ago. Uh, what I'm gonna try to do here is take an album and rank the songs on that album. I've got a little bowl here full of names, band names, a whole bunch. I've already picked one, and the first one was Megadeth, and it's their. What I'm going to do is pick a number from another bowl here, and it came out to be Endgame. So probably Friday, later on in the week, I might be listening to that album through the week. I've got some of the songs I figured out, my number one, number two. It's going to be tough. Ranking the songs off a single album, it's going to be tough, especially with a band like Megadeth. So anyway, maybe Friday, Saturday, somewhere around there, I'll be ranking the songs off of Megadeth Endgame. And then that night, what I'll do is I'll pick the next band and the album number, and then that'll be the following week. So, so anyway, that's the plan. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, no more sickness. Hopefully, we can move forward. 2 weeks to the 4th of July. I can hardly wait. We're gonna have a party here. I got a reverse dunk tank coming. Everybody from the shop and family, friends. And if you don't know what a reverse dunk tank is, it's instead of climbing up into the cage and sitting on a platform and getting dumped into a bunch of water, there's a bucket over your head. They hit the target just like you would on a regular dunk tank, and the bucket tips on you. Uh, Less work getting up in the tank. I had a dunk tank last 4th of July. We had loads of fun with it, but I jammed my toe really bad. There's a clear portion with screws, holding this clear plexiglass thing, window, and I hit the edge of that with my toe, and man, that hurt. So, and plus my mom couldn't get into it, and I just think that this will use less water. We are drought here technically. So far, we haven't been doing too bad on water, but we still got 2 of the meanest months to come in the summer, and summer starts tomorrow, Tuesday. So anyway, have a good week. Uh, like I said, leave your own uh, ranking down below. I'd love to see it, and we'll see you hopefully Friday or Saturday with Megadeth ranking the songs of Endgame. So we'll see you then.